Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And big energies, big forward movement. Welcome, Kiki. Welcome, Alicia. We have Saturn going direct for this last time in Pisces before it moves forward back into Aries, and a day later, Mercury goes direct. Yahoo! For all who know, you know. So we have these big movements of Saturn going direct, Mercury going direct. They're coming up, and this overall thing of this beautiful theme. Let me just go to our main theme right off the bat. It's Mercy Me, moving forward, and all that jazz. Canary and Fox medicine. So we have this Mercy Me and moving forward and all that jazz. And that really, and all that jazz kind of brought in this whole thing of trumpets and jazz and this dare to win. So let's just break this all down really quickly and before we jump into the astrological chart for Mercury stationing direct. So Mercy Me is an old-fashioned interjection used to express surprise, shock, or dismay, much like saying goodness me or oh my. It can also express sympathy, relief, or wonder. The phrase is a contraction of God have mercy on me, a common religious oath that has evolved into a general expression of emotion. So it has this, Mercy Me. So Saturn stationing direct, Mercury stationing direct, all of this forward movement, these endings and beginnings. And we spoke about that last week in last week's episode. So this whole kind of astounding Mercy Me. And again, how does it play out? It can be as a surprise, like I didn't see that coming, or it can be a dismay, meaning look at the state of you or the state of something, or from a sympathy, that's a tough situation to be in, or relief, like I'm glad you made it safely, or, we're here. The phrase and all that jazz is an informal expression used at the end of a sentence to suggest a continuation of a list of related items. So here the unseen is saying, Mercy Me, moving forward, and all that jazz. It's about all that goes with moving forward, all the related items. Again, individually, collectively, spiritually. The phrase is a casual way to say, and all that sort of thing. It is used to include related items without having to list every single one. So an example might be like a store might sell televisions and radios and all that jazz, implying that they sell similar products like cables, phones, electronics. So you can see this message of, and all that jazz. jazz is also, it's a music genre that originated in the African American communities of New Orleans, Louisiana in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Its roots are in blues, ragtime, European harmony, African rhythmic rituals, spirituals, hymns, marches, vaudeville song, and dance music, and is often improvisational. So impromptu. So again, Mercy Me, moving forward, and all that jazz. This, how things may be literal, and you'll see in the chart, like out of the blue, unexpected, improvised. Like it'll just be on the fly, intuitive, in the knowing. And so we have that, and then I just want to go to trumpets, because trumpets, biblically, trumpets in the Bible have multiple uses, including, and why trumpets? Trumpets, jazz, trumpets, you see this connection here. There was something about trumpets, jazz, this dare to win, and this mercy me, moving forward, and all that jazz, all that goes into it. So in essence, before I finish with trumpets in the Bible, it's expect the unexpected. This is all about moving forward. It's about everything that goes along with moving forward. And really this mercy me, like, wow. However we receive it or experience it, it'll be both individually and collectively. It's going to be, they're saying to me, the unseen is saying to me, it's like, it's going to be a nail biter in a way. That's not a bad thing. Nail biting can be nervous. It can be excitement, anticipation. It can be, pensive and worried about the outcome of something. So in the Bible, trumpets have multiple uses, including calling assemblies, signaling for war, and ceremonial worship. They also symbolize divine announcements, prophetic warnings, and future events, such as the resurrection and the final judgment described in the book of Revelation. The shofar, or ram's horn, is one of the primary instruments mentioned, used for religious and military purposes. So in the Old Testament, welcome Olivia, in the Old Testament, in Numbers 10, trumpets were used to call the congregation to assemble and to signal the movement of the camp. They were sounded during festivals, new moon feasts, and religious services to accompany sacrifices and or to honor God. Trumpets were used as a call to battle and a signal for victory. A famous example is the Battle of Jericho, which we'll cover here in a second, where the walls came down after the Israelites marched around the city blowing trumpets. At Mount Sinai, a loud trumpet blast accompanied God's presence as he gave the 10 Commandments, signifying his power and authority. You're going to see in today's show, so the 10 Commandments and this horn, it's in the news, the 10 Commandments. Certain states passing laws to place them back into schools or into schools. You're going to see, and I'll mention it each time, there's going to be a few things, 2, 3, 4 things, Sabian symbols, that are literally in the events that are occurring in our world today and what the unseen is giving us to incurrent energies, intuitive wisdom, and insights to pay attention to. In the New Testament, in prophetic books like Isaiah and Joel, a trumpet blast symbolizes an urgent warning from God about impending judgment. Paul refers to the last trumpet in 1 Corinthians 15, which will sound the resurrection of the dead. And the book of Revelation describes 7 angels blowing trumpets that unleash a series of devastating judgments upon the earth as part of the end times. Mercy me, moving forward, and all that jazz. Everything that goes along with that. Everything that goes along with the heralding of news. Trumpets, the heralding of news. Whatever form that may take. And just to give you, according to the book of Joshua in the Bible, the walls of Jericho fell after the Israelites marched around the city for 7 days. For 6 days, they marched once a day with 7 priests blowing trumpets. On the 7th day, they marched around the city 7 times. And upon a long blast of trumpets, the people shouted, causing the walls to collapse. God gave Joshua a specific plan to conquer Jericho. The Israelites were to march around the city once a day for 6 days. On the seventh day, they marched around the city 7 times. 7 priests with ram's horn trumpets led the procession before the Ark of the Covenant. On the 7th day, after the 7th march, the priests blew a long blast on the trumpets, the people shouted, and the walls of Jericho fell. Trumpets are a divine instrument. They are a divine message, a way to speak to, awaken the people, or to enact divine will. We talked about divine will last week. And so this whole overarching theme of season 5 of Weekly Wisdom and Insights, the unmasking of divine will. So this revealing of it, and so there's a point here where what's happening in our current world, and you can't make this up. I, as Dearjames, do not create these shows. The unseen does. I assemble them, but it is the unseen that is guiding every facet, every thread. And so this is why it's so important for us to realize that, and we've spoken about this, like just because something otherworldly, biblical, in that narrative, divine, hasn't quote unquote occurred in our, or we haven't recognized it in our current societies and world, i.e. something biblical, doesn't mean that it won't happen again, because it's happened in the past. And so this heralding of this mercy me, moving forward and all that jazz, we know this in our personal lives. When we move forward, when we move, look at all the many facets that go into it. We have to pack, we declutter, we have to, discern our new location, our new abode. We have to turn on utilities, turn them off. We have to schedule the movers. All of these different various aspects of moving forward. Well, that's what the unseen is saying to us as well, individually, collectively. Moving forward and all that jazz, all that goes into it. And trumpets, announcements, awakenings, directives, dictates that come from on high, as above, so below. So big themes in season 5 of this, the unmasking of divine will and how that is revealed to us, how that is going to play out. Because with these energies for the chart that's coming up, for the Mercury stationing direct, number 1 from the unseen is long-lasting events, outcomes, achievements, arcing decades into the future. So the energies that are taking place, that are literally at play, are going to arc out for decades to come into the future, because they're long-lasting events, outcomes, and achievements. Let's move to, let me just put my specs on. So Kiki is saying, I'm wearing Band-Aids on my fingers because I've been nail biting. See, but nail biting doesn't, it's nervous energy. So again, this is where we're saying, so do your best, Kiki, to not nail bite. Because again, the energies are going to play out, and it's just how we allow them to move through us. We never want to remember many shows ago, they spoke about how with the divine feminine energies, the matriarchal, divine feminine, Aquarian age energies, and this is true of all, but we don't want to, you never want to stop energy or try to block it. That creates nervous energy where we can nail bite. It can be anticipatory, it can be pensive. It just depends on how we're processing it and allowing it to move and flow through us. And Olivia is saying, I finally found you. Wish I knew what was going on with Facebook. Yes, it's Mercury. We're at the tip end of Mercury retrograde, and we'll still have the post shadow. So let's jump into, just going to quickly cover the main energies. And what we're really focused on here is critical mass adjust. It's hexagram 28. So let's take a look at that. Hexagram 28. We'll begin there before I jump over to Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. But hexagram 28 is known as excessive pressure. And so this was very much the minute I felt this, and it was about the canary in the coal mine. And we have a quote I'll bring it up in a second. So, and a canary in the coal mine, an early indicator of potential danger or failure. And we're working with canary medicine. So hexagram 28, excessive pressure. Something is about to collapse, and this is from divination.com, pardon me. Something is about to collapse. A great pressure is causing an imbalance that needs correction. When the dam is about to burst, moving out of the way is your first priority. Likewise, when you are in an old mine shaft and feel the earth begin to tremble, it is time for quick, instinctive action and nimble footwork. Only extraordinary measures can produce a successful outcome. When the roof is collapsing, run first and choose your destination later. And this brings me to our first quote. Extraordinary times bring out the best and worst in people. See, these are extraordinary times. So extraordinary times bring out the best and the worst in people. And so this is about listening to your intuition, to your soul source connection, to stay in harmony and in balance, to allow the energies to move through us, to not allow them to dictate or define us. Allow them to refine you. And that way it will bring out the best in you because you'll be in alignment. You'll be in this anticipatory state, not a pensive state. Something wonderful arriving and happening, not worried that something fatalistic or horrible is happening. But again, this depends on which train. We've spoken about this a lot. Which train are you on? Which lane, which train? We all hold a golden ticket unless we don't. That's a choice we make. And so you'll see it is literally a choice that's being made. It's literally number 4 from the unseen. Peace be with you. We've had this a lot from the unseen. Peace be with you. It's to know that the unseen is always within us and with us. And they said, a gentle reminder of, quote, what is, and the choice that resides within you all. See, it's a choice. It's a choice about how I spend or where I place my energy, that I'm for something versus against something, that I'm actually focused on what's before me, the opportunities, not cleaving and clinging to the past and trying to stop time. So this extraordinary times bring out the best and the worst in people. Natural disasters produce stories of heroism, but also of looting and rioting. When a great weight is upon your world, powerful moments present opportunities to make great gains, because everything is in a state of flux. One can either move in the direction of positive change and improvement or towards stagnation. To achieve the former, one must go gently to the heart of the issue, to the cause. Then a smooth transition is assured. So this is about looking at, we're in a great state of flux, massive transition, moving from one massive period, 2,000 plus years of Piscean patriarchal, Piscean era rule, divine masculine rule, patriarchal rule, to Aquarian, matriarchal, divine feminine rule, energy. And we have a choice. Do we go with the flow? Do we embrace the opportunities that are present? Or are we cleaving and clinging to a past version of ourselves, a past, we don't, and humans don't like change. We like everything, and yet we do. We love it and yet we don't embrace change. And so this is about embracing change. Peace be with you. The divine is with you. It's within us all. A gentle reminder of what is. What is? Peace be with you. Peace. It is. It's ever present. Love is ever present. Light is ever present. The shadow, the aspects, the lesser thans, yes, they are present too. However, it's a choice. Which wolf do you, which wolf wins? The wolf you feed. So, in this, the choice that resides within all of us. So now, quote number 2. This may be the moment you have been waiting for. And here's this branch of canaries. There's 4 canaries, 4 foundational, peace be with you. And this beautiful aspect of literally this moment in time, this may be the moment you have been waiting for. Although the current challenge may seem to be more than you can handle, remember that a flood usually reaches its high water mark for only a brief moment before it begins to subside. Action must be taken now to ensure opportunities for success later. You never know the true extent of your abilities and your capabilities until you, at least once in your life, dive into a crisis with complete abandon, dedicating every ounce of your energy and every fiber of your being to the cause at hand. Now is that time. Now is that time, meaning this window we've been talking from the 0 point right now to end of April, this kind of, it's now 5.5 months left, about this 6-month window. Now is that time. And it's our quote 3, dare to win. And this is the fox medicine. So let's take a look at Canary medicine first, and then we will go to fox medicine. So the canary as a spirit animal represents finding your authentic voice, joy, and self-expression. It encourages you to speak your truth, overcome limitations, and let your inner light shine. The canary's message can also highlight heightened sensitivity and the importance of listening to your intuition. This is that time. This is that moment. Dare to win. This is when we take the bushel basket off of our light. Where have we been dimming our light? Because of past trauma, life experiences, other people. And where do we just take that off and say, no, my true authentic self, canary medicine, my authentic voice, joy, and self-expression, I'm going to let it shine. It's a children's Bible hymn, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. It's about our fullness, our expression, our authenticity, our divinity shining. The canary's song is a call to find and use your own voice to express what is in your heart and to live as your true self. Its singing can symbolize joy, creativity, and a reminder to embrace happiness and share it with the world. A free canary represents independence and the courage to be authentic, while a caged canary can symbolize feeling stifled, trapped by responsibilities, or emotionally repressed. A canary spirit animal may indicate increased sensitivity to your surroundings and the emotions of others. It encourages you to pay attention to those feelings and your intuition. Allow the energies to move through you. And finally, the canary can also point to themes of vulnerability and self-expression, inviting you to explore and express these aspects of yourself more deeply. This is shadow work. It's to not fear shadow work, the shadow, our past. Everything is purposeful, no matter what it is. It's what we do in the present moment that matters. Do we own, atone, release? How do we allow these energies to move through us? How do we allow our life experiences to refine us, not define us? This is all emptying the vessel, polishing the stone, honing and practicing, exercising our soul muscle for what's before us, the new era. It's a higher octave. It's more pure. And to get there, we're addressing the goo. We're facing the goo. Let's look at fox medicine. So the fox spirit animal symbolizes cleverness, intuition, adaptability, and playfulness. representing the ability to use wisdom to navigate life's challenges. It can also embody independence, beauty, and good fortune. In folklore, the fox is often seen as a trickster, but also as a protector or wise guide, appearing when you need to be strategic, trust your instincts, or embrace both action and play. So these two beautiful spirit animal medicines are showing up for us at this moment. Remember, it's this moment. We're arcing out long-lasting events, outcome, and achievements, arcing decades into the future. The canary and the fox, and how they are. The canary, find your voice, shine your light, be authentic, do so in a place of joy and peace and harmony. And this fox medicine, where we trust our instincts, our intuition, our soul source connection, that we're strategic. It's about taking the right steps at the right time, divine timing, divine order, knowing that, and that we embrace both action and play. The fox is associated with wit and cunning, teaching you to be strategic and resourceful. Its ability to thrive in various environments symbolizes adaptability and the power to outwit stronger opponents. The fox can be a guide to help you trust your own instincts and inner wisdom, sometimes appearing in times of urgency. It reminds you to embrace the lighter side of life and find balance between work and play. In some cultures, the fox is a protective or magical creature that can offer guidance and reveal hidden things. The SABIAN symbol for the North Node for this Mercury stationing direct is protective shielding. And here the fox in some cultures is a protective or magical creature that offers guidance and reveals hidden things. The fox is a symbol of independence, representing a self-assured and capable nature. And just quickly, in Japanese mythology, the kitsune are magical fox-like spirits that can shapeshift and are associated with wisdom and protection. We, humans, souls, we can shapeshift. We can shapeshift from fear to faith. We can shapeshift from hiding our light to shining our light. We can shapeshift from the past to the present future. Native American folklore, foxes are often seen as tricksters, but also as wise and benevolent guides that can help navigate difficult situations through cleverness. See, this isn't, through illicitness. Cleverness is listening and being agile and fluid and recognizing, I can go around the boulder, the obstacle, this mental block, this emotional block, this past goo. There's another, it's the roadrunner, and it's this, there's a way to go around things at times. This is where the fox medicine comes in, that helps us to navigate difficult situations, because all of this is migrating us, moving us, advancing us forward. Last but not least, Norse and Celtic mythology. The fox is a symbol of resilience and supernatural powers, with Celtic mythology sometimes viewing it as a magical creature that bridges worlds. We are bridging literally this from the Piscean to the Aquarian, from the patriarchal to the matriarchal, from the divine masculine to the divine feminine. We're bridging this. And how we can do so with all of this assistance. Number 2 from the unseen, Come What May. So it's that beautiful song from Moulin Rouge, Come What May. The unseen is saying, come what may, triumph over evil, triumph over ill will. It's a fait accompli. It's a done deal. Are we living and experiencing and being, in this sense, forced to face the shadow, our shadow, individually, our collective shadow? Yes. To empty our vessels, to reckon, to reconcile, but also to reckon with our choices, our past choices, so that we don't take them collectively or individually into the future. We want a clear and pristine vessel. That's what the unseen is talking about. And number 3 from the unseen, since we're here, they said past, present, future collide like an atom bomb by your side. That's some major energy. So past, present, and future collide like an atom bomb by your side. An atom bomb is about nuclear fission. It's where a nucleus of an atom splits into 2 or more smaller nuclei. So it's a magnification of energy. So what's harnessed in one splits, and yet in that split, each of those smaller nuclei contain the same velocity and enormity of energy. So they're speaking to an energetic alteration. When the past, present, and future collide, this is about an energetic alteration and a non-destructive advance. And we've had this image and this word advance. This is all about our advance, our ascension, going back to where we began, but an octave higher. A new operating system, a new way of being, that where that old dog doesn't hunt, it doesn't work anymore. And so it's for us to be prepared, be ready. And how are we, through our individual choices on a day-to-day basis, aligning our actions, our deeds, our words, our thoughts with the new, so that they are in alignment with the new. So now let's take a quick look. Let's jump to, we're going to jump into Pam Youngin's North Point Journal, but I'm going to bring up the astrological chart first. This is the chart for Mercury stationing direct on the 29th of November, the day before Saturn stations direct. What we're looking at, welcome Colleen, and what we're looking at is this beautiful, there's a lot going on, beautiful harmonies and oppositions in this chart. And the thing that came up with the chart, here's the astro influences. I'm bouncing a little bit, but bear with me. What I heard with this chart was skyrocketing stardom hyphen fame. Who rises, who falls, and about who comes from obscurity to prominence at this time, and vice versa. You know, this who falls from grace. And why? Well, as we're looking at this chart, at the very top is the 10th house. And the 10th house is all about, honors and fame. In astrology, it rules your career, your public image, your reputation, your life purpose. It signifies your social standing, authority, and legacy, showing how you present yourself to the world and what kind of impact you want to make. So that's at the top of the chart. And in the top of that chart is the North Node. Saturn and the Moon are conjunct at the same degree, arc minutes apart. And Neptune's at that anaretic degree of 29 degrees Pisces, right at the very last degree of the astrological year and wheel. So instantly it said to me, and there's a beautiful grand water trine. That's the big triangle in the inner circle. So we're looking at the fact that in this 10th house, North Node, where humanity's going, Saturn, the great taskmaster, the teacher, is conjunct the Moon, divine feminine, that which reveals. That she conceals, but she also reveals. And then Neptune, our highest ideal and visions, visionary, illusion, delusion. And this aspect of who is rising, who's falling, who's coming from obscurity to prominence, and vice versa. All of this, and then you come down a little bit to the left in the 12th house. The 12th house is about the subconscious, hidden realms. It represents the end of the zodiac cycle, and it's about areas of self-undoing, isolation, dreams, secrets, things that get revealed, and spirituality. Well, in the 12th house is Uranus. expect the unexpected. It's directly opposing, that's the red line going across, it's directly opposing dark moon Lilith. She's 1 degree apart from Venus and the descendant. Welcome, Sue. And so we have this direct opposition to the divine feminine, Venus, black moon Lilith. So again, intuitively looking at this Mercury stationing direct chart that occurs on Friday, I believe, the 29th. And these energies are going to long-lasting events, outcomes, achievements, arcing decades into the future. We're going to look back at this window of time, look back at these weekly wisdom and insight shows, and see that they were the turning point. They were the moment where the unseen is saying to us, wake up. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Here's where people rise and fall. And it's based on the 12th house, this, things that are revealed, the 10th house, honors, public things of public honors and status, and how people will rise from obscurity to prominence and prominence to obscurity. Major energies playing out. And how the past, present, and future collide like an atom bomb by your side. So again, is it explosive destructive, or is it explosive quantum leaps forward? The energy and how that's magnified, because again, an atom bomb is nuclear fission. It's where one nucleus is hit, or energetically hit, it fractures out, and so it magnifies and amplifies. It's an energetic alteration, and it's a non-destructive advance, because nothing's meant to harm us. It's all happening for us, no matter how we experience it. We humans, we easily accept that when it's something positive. We reject that concept when it's, air quotes, negative. However, everything is divine and neutral. Everything is happening for us. And the only thing that makes the difference in that equation is our choices. What choices did we make? Were we making proactive, positive, light-based choices, or were we making reactive, shadow-based, illicit choices? Everything's energy. So again, depending on the choices we've made, and again, don't get hung up on the past, on past choices. It's just about, what are you doing today? Own, atone, release. Own past choices that you may be in conflict with. Atone for them. That can be done in ritual. That can be done in simply just surrendering the aspect and recognizing it, owning it, and then release it. And continue to make choices that are proactive, that are in alignment with the purity of your divine soul, your divine essence. So let's go to Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. And she is speaking about a reckoning. And we just said this, a reckoning and this reconciliation. So the harsh light of reality shatters illusions this week as Saturn comes to a standstill in idealistic Pisces. A planet's influence is always heightened when it slows its pace and prepares to change direction. For Saturn, known in astrology as the Lord of Karma, this means we are in a time of reckoning. We can now see clearly whether the dreams we had faith in were truly visions with possibility or only a fantasy we chose to believe. We are observing the results of giving our authority away and placing our trust in something that had no substance. This is Canary medicine. Where have I given my voice, my power, my light away, my joy away? And how we reclaim it. Falsehoods, weaknesses, and vaporware are revealed. 12th house, Uranus, things that the moon, things that get revealed, and the moon is literally conjunct Saturn. Actions that are not in alignment with highest integrity and those taken without the support of a spiritual conscience are tested. See, this is about, come what may, triumph over evil, triumph over ill will. So this is where the rubber meets the road. And if actions, thoughts, deeds, actions are not in alignment with the highest integrity and they're taken without the support of spiritual conscience, they're tested. They're going to be, the unseen is saying, they're going to be eradicated, meaning legs, the foundation crumbles, the legs are cut out from underneath of you, because it is a fait accompli. There is, biblical and historical and other world religions, where it is, the story has been told, the ending has been told, the light prevails. It doesn't mean we don't go through hardship and we don't face ourselves. We don't have to reckon and reconcile. We do. However, with the outcome known, then it begs the question, why would we individual humans, collective humans, why would we not want to align ourselves with that victory, dare to win? It doesn't mean be lazy and sit back and do nothing. And, oh, well, it's in the bag. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to show up. No, of course you do. We do. Because we are participatory co-creators in this evolution, this process, this ascension. So of course we need to show up. And it's reminding me of, again, Shirley MacLaine, this beautiful statement that she made when she really dove into her spiritual journey with great fortitude and depth and commitment. And she said, I came to realize if I've been here before, and she's speaking about reincarnation or multi-incarnation, and if I've been here before and I'll be here again, what I do in this life matters. Of course it does. It matters greatly. And thus why we're all being shown, individually and collectively, our choices, this culmination, this story. With near-death experiences, people say, oh, I had this flash, like I saw my life flash before my eyes, like this life review. Well, we can take stock at any moment. We don't get stuck in the past. We don't stay in the past. We don't beat ourselves up over the past. The past is the past. We can, though, choose in the present future how we move forward, how we live our lives. And and that requires us to really look at our environment, who's in our lives, the people, the places, the things, all of these things, because they're energy. And there will be those that don't want you to advance, don't want you to change, want you to stay small. Throwing off the yoke of yesteryear that was in last week's show. You're whole, you're divine, you're sovereign, and you are entitled to throw off that yoke. You are entitled to change, to evolve, to transcend and ascend a former iteration, incarnation of yourself while in this incarnation. 1000%. And so do so with grace, with humility, with surrender, and with commitment and fortitude, with joy. And anyone that doesn't want that, namaste. I bow to the divine in you and I release you, or I release it, whatever it may be, so that you move forward having emptied your vessel, having honed and polished your stone. So Pam Youngin's North Point Journal, we're in this time of reckoning with the Lord of Karma, Saturn. We can now see clearly whether the dreams we had faith in were truly visions with possibility or only a fantasy we chose to believe. We are observing the results of giving our authority away and placing our trust in something that had no substance. Falsehoods, weaknesses, and vaporware are revealed. Actions that are not in alignment with highest integrity and those taken without the support of spiritual conscience are tested. Saturn stations direct at 7:51 p.m. Pacific time this Thursday, November 28th, is 27, 28, depending on where you are in the world, at 25 degrees, 9 arc minutes Pisces. The sense of completion and endings is very strong, especially with Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac. It is time to clear away the cobwebs that have clouded our vision and interfered with our capacity for discernment, so that we might enter the productive Saturn in Aries years with uncompromised wisdom. Uncompromised wisdom, clarity, purity, goodness, joy. This is Canary medicine. This is Fox medicine. This is moving forward and all that jazz. Trumpets, jazz, dare to win, all of these energies, because remember that Saturn and Neptune are going to journey together for the first almost 2 years, year and a half-ish, in Aries. They're going to co-present together. So this is how, Saturn makes things, it's the teacher, how we make things real. Neptune can be the illusion or delusion, but it's the highest ideal. So when these two work, and we work with them in harmony, in tandem, it means our highest ideals can be made real. However, we have to show up. We have to do the works. We have to walk the walk, talk the talk, be in alignment with these energies, with these higher or highest ideals, so that is the reality that our soul, that our human experiences and receives and co-creates with the unseen, the divine. So now let's move to Astrology by Lauren. And she begins with a quote by Clara Barton. "Be always calm, my child. Keep yourself quiet and in restraint. Reserve your energies, doing those little things that lie in your way, each one as well as you can, saving your strength, so that when God does call you to do something good and great, you will have not wasted your forces and strength with useless strivings, but will be ready to do the work quickly and well. Go slowly, my child, and keep ready." It's this whole beautiful be ready. It's always, and the peace be with you. It's always, divine wisdom is constant. It's ever present. And so when we walk and we know, it's that you need not cast pearls before swine statement from Master Jesus. We need not waste our time and energy. We don't have to cast pearls before swine. We can simply listen and be in alignment with our authenticity, our divine nature, our deepest knowing. And that will require us to face ourselves and others, but that's okay. It means that you remain in alignment. So, Astrology by Lauren. On November 27th, 28th, depending on where you are in the world, Saturn will station at 25 degrees Pisces, 9 arc minutes, finally ending its retrograde phase. This one feels like a long time coming. It will be immediately followed by Mercury's direct station on November 29th. But until then, we will continue to have 5 planets either retrograde or now literally stationing, as Saturn is, standing still, apparently stalled before it will finally appear to be moving forward again. And this is part of, when planets station, as above, so below, when they station, moving forward and all that jazz, all that goes with it. Retrogrades are a part of moving forward. We take a step back to take 100 steps forward. During the retrograde phase of Saturn, which began this year on July 13th, we come to terms with some of our own life lessons and challenges. Just been talking about this. We are given permission to withdraw, to say no, and set better boundaries. We are compelled to confront our own Saturnian blocks, our fears, our attachments, our need to control all the outcomes, avoidance, and our resistance to change. The Saturn opposition, which occurred simultaneously with the solar eclipse on September 21st, compelled us to come face to face with some of our hardest Saturnian lessons. This is where we're facing the goo, we're facing the shadow, we're facing that energy that is sometimes the most harsh, but it's also that which will create the greatest transcendence. Through hardship, this is Astrology by Lauren, through hardship, through adult decisions, Saturn asks us to step up to the plate to be a person of substance and respect, and to gain a deeper appreciation of what it means to be responsible, to be mature and have integrity. One would say to be accountable, held accountable to ourselves first and foremost. Am I in alignment with my soul source connection, with my highest octave, my highest destiny? If I'm not, I need to hold myself accountable to make the choices to align with that truth, with that outcome, with that possibility. We grow through Saturn. This is the means by which we attain sagacity and wisdom. The difficulty with Saturn being in its retrograde phase these past 4 months, and with a number of other planets as well, is the feeling of being stuck and unable to make any progress. This was last week's show, Progress. There's more than meets the eye. This was the November 12th show, was Progress. There's more than meets the eye. So there's this aspect of just because it looks like nothing's happening doesn't mean there's not more than meets the eye going on. There's a lot going on. I was going to use an expression that, I caught myself. Astrology by Lauren. Stagnation, avoidance, roadblocks, and delays are all typical with this phase. And even when you manage to take a step forward, it is often followed by having to take a few steps back before you can move forward again. What we learn in the meantime is patience. Patience with the process, with ourselves and others, learning to be self-reliant and learning what it means to be the grown-up in the room, rather than looking for others to have all the solutions. This is, again, Canary medicine. Finding our voice, shining our light, taking back our power if we've given it away, and to whom and why, and moving along, moving forward. Peace be with you, knowing that you can do so in a divine manner. And although it may often feel like we are not making all that much progress in our outer world, we have been doing a great deal of inner work. For it is during the retrograde phase of Saturn that we are given the opportunity to internalize the qualities of Saturn, such as self-discipline, self-restraint, organization, responsibility, and self-respect, and patience. And this is important, for these are the very tools required to fulfill the goals of Saturn in the outer world. So to fulfill the goals of Saturn in the outer world, it requires self-discipline, self-restraint, organization, responsibility, self-respect, accountability. We know this, and yet we allow them to fall by the wayside. This is by choice. This is where all the shadow and the goo, and 2,000 plus years of it, is smacking us in the face right now. We're seeing it. But equally so is what's before us, what is literally on offer, the opportunity that is before us. Astrology by Lauren. And now that Saturn will finally resume what appears to be its direct motion, we will begin to see some of the pieces of our lives coming together. Obstacles that were previously slowing us down and getting in the way will be removed, or we will be given the tools to remove the obstacles ourselves. See, this was that intuition and that knowing, oh, I can go, this cunning of the fox. Oh, I can go around this. I don't have to drill through it or spend the next decade with this person or this relationship or this situation. I can simply release it, surrender it. I can recognize or realize, oh, I'm done with this lesson. I've learned it. I'm going to move on or move through. It's number 5 from the unseen, and 5 is about change. And they said, fractions multiply like flies. And I thought this was very interesting. Fractions multiply like flies. Well, fractions are divisions of a whole number, of a whole. So fractions multiply like flies. A simplification, a reunion of, quote, the whole. So where we have been fragmented, broken into fractions or fractional aspects of ourselves, and this past, present, future collide like an atom bomb by your side, and it's a nucleus that gets hit that radiates out. there is this rejoining. So this atomic energy of energetic alteration and non-destructive advance meeting fractions multiply like flies, a simplification, a reunion of the whole, where the fractional aspects of ourselves come back together. It's number 3 and number 5 from the unseen. And 3 represents the Trinity, the all that is, so the whole, the all in one, all that is. And 5, change, what will happen or occur to bring that about. So going back to Astrology by Lauren, on September 1st, Saturn returned to Pisces for some unfinished business. Pisces is a sign of releasing, of tying up loose ends, of assimilation and finishing. It is a sign of endings. Number 4 from the premiere last week's show was Endings and Beginnings, the world reimagined. So here we have this Pisces as a sign of releasing and tying up of loose ends, assimilation and finishing. It is a sign of endings. Well, Aries is the sign of beginnings. However, it is also when we are needing to learn from the past, make sense of our history and our life lessons. It is also when we gather to us the seeds that are necessary for the next cycle of Saturn, which will resume when Saturn re-enters Aries on September 13th. So we have in this, the endings and the beginnings, and how we make sense with Saturn in Pisces. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It creates, or it culminates and concludes the astrological year. So we see that, and both Saturn and Neptune are in the very end degrees of Pisces. So we're making sense of our history, of our past, readying ourselves, the seeds, we're gathering the seeds for what will resume when Saturn enters or re-enters Aries on February 13th. Pisces is symbolic of our big vision, our high hopes, and our idealistic notions. The traditional ruling planet of Pisces, Jupiter, just stationed for its retrograde phase at 25 degrees Cancer, 9 arc minutes, exactly 120 degrees away from, and trine, it's our harmonious aspect, Saturn, as it stations this week. Trines are supportive relationships between planets. In the same element, there is a commonality of purpose here, and as Jupiter sowed promises of hope and better things to come with its station earlier this month, Saturn follows through with a deeper sense of commitment. And this brings me, it's our mantra, so let me just bring this up. It's our mantra, in an instant. So, in an instant, and then I heard from a distance. And so this beautiful, and you see in an instant, you see this divine spark, this eruption of energy and light and force. So it's this in an instant. And then it brought me to From a Distance. And From a Distance is a song made very famous by Bette Midler in 1990. And the lyrics are, from a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope, it's the voice of peace, it's the voice of every man. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. And there are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments, marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They are the songs of every man. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. The unseen, the all that is, source. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance, I just cannot comprehend what all this fighting is for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. And it's the hope of hopes, and it's the love of loves. It's the heart of every man. It's the hope of hopes. It's the love of loves. This is the song of every man. And thus, God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. So there's a message, there's a profound message here of the unseen, the divine, the all that is, watching us at this moment. Being peace be with you, is one with us at this moment, is advancing us at this moment, at this time. Dare to win. This is the time. This may just be the time. Is that our second quote? First quote, second quote, second quote. This may just be the moment you've been waiting for. And this Canary medicine and Fox medicine. Want to continue with Astrology by Lauren. Pisces can be a sign of forgetfulness as we leave the remnants of the previous sign behind us to make room for the new cycle to come. But it also affords us the opportunity to bring the essence of all our experiences, the memories, all the life events, the successes along with the failures, so that we may not repeat the same mistakes. This is emptying our vessel, own, atone, release. This is life review. This is ensuring that we are surrendering and releasing the past to embrace our soul self, soul source connection, future self. So that we may not repeat the same mistakes. History is important, and so is our part in it. And remember, astrology is cyclical. It's not identical, it's cyclical. And so we are back, Pluto and Aquarius, not, as we've talked about, not since the industrial, French, and American revolutions. We have these moments where great arcs of history are repeating themselves, meaning cyclically reoccurring. But it's not identical. And so here we are given, humanity is being given a leg up, a new opportunity, a new era to rise, to shine our light, but to do so from a place of true authenticity and humility and grace and goodness. A higher octave, a higher ideal. Oops, sorry, I lost my place. History is important, and so is our part in it. We are the sum total of all that we have been. And when we take that essence with us into the cycle that is yet to come, it allows us to build on that pure essence of what we carry with us. This is where the past, the present, and the future collide. What are we bringing with us into the new, moving forward? Jupiter in Cancer may be inspiring us with a vision for the future, but it is Saturn who has been teaching us how to make that vision a closer and more achievable reality. It may not be the absolute ideal we had in mind. It may not even be exactly what we were wistfully hoping for. However, this combination of planetary forces lays the groundwork for at least an approximation of the ideal implied by the Saturn-Neptune conjunction at 0 degrees Aries that's coming up in February of 2026. So again, to what degree are we in alignment, individually and collectively, to bring about this highest ideal, and that it is literally realistic? It's a possibility, it's a reality when we choose it. However, we must align with it and we must choose it for it to become our present future. And lastly, with Astrology by Lauren, this is what can happen when the planet of reality, Saturn, the planet of real world, slogs its way through the diluvian depths of Pisces, urged on by the trine, that harmonious aspect from Jupiter, the planet of hope, exalted in the sign of Cancer, a sign of empathy, community, one would say unity, and understanding. We've got this. Now maybe we can all get out of the ruts we've been stuck in and look onward and upward. This is all about, and it's our key word. Let me bring that up. Unification. And this beautiful image, you see a young boy, a young girl, Caucasian, African American, holding hands, standing before the universe, standing before, looking out to Mother Earth. And you recognize this unification, this oneness that resides within all of us. And unification, the process of being united or made into a whole. the act, process, or result of unifying, the forming of a single thing by bringing together separate parts, the bringing together of two or more things. And that reminded me of Matthew 18:20. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. This beautiful unification, this peace be with you, this made whole, made one again. The fractions multiply like flies, a simplification, reunion of the whole. This bringing back together and this amplifying and magnifying of our divine selves, our divine essence, our divine light, our divinity. That's what they're talking about here. The unseen is really, I don't know about all of you. Please put in the comments and share your thoughts in the show thread on Dearjames' Facebook page. Are you feeling the magnitude of the messages and the energies that are being conveyed from the unseen? We're watching the deconstruction. It's at the fore, but we're simultaneously witnessing and participating in the construction of what's before us, of what's to come. And I just want to close out. There are 3 Sabian symbols, and you cannot, this is again where things in real time are occurring, and the astrological charts and the Sabian symbols that are based on those astrological events, you are in lockstep with one another. So here, this is the chart is for, we're looking at the Mercury stationing direct chart. The symbol, the Sabian symbol, which is from Dane Redyer and Astrological Mandala, obeying his conscience, a soldier resists orders. It has been in the headlines where members of Congress have spoken out and and have advised military members, service members, leaders to not to ignore illegal orders. So here's Mercury stationing direct. Mercury is the messenger, the conveyor from the gods, speaking. And the Sabian symbol is obeying his conscience, a soldier resists orders. A readiness to face the results of a refusal to follow the authoritarian patterns of an aggressive society. As a person finds themselves involved in activities which are traditional in their culture, and in many instances in all societies at this stage of human evolution, they often face a conflict between their own individual sense of value, one's conscience, and the demands of society. The conflict may be most typical in terms of the armed services. Thus, this symbol. In it, we find the individual asserting their own values, though they cannot escape the consequences of their decision. In such a case, they must be quietly ready to face these consequences, whatever the cost. Come what may, triumph over evil, triumph over ill will. So this means that you do have to stand within your consciousness. You may have to face whatever may come. However, this symbol is saying that when we disobey the order, because if it's illegal, it's illegal. It's not to be done. That's contributing to the shadow aspect. So when we turn from that, we're contributing to the light. This issue, this stage and symbol present is clear. Society in this situation seems to be all-powerful, yet the individual need not be spiritually bound, even if imprisoned. He or she can still display inner freedom and prove oneself an individual. Soul source connection. The symbol for the Saturn and Moon are conjunct, and they're at that top of who rises and who falls, and it's public. Watching the very thin crescent moon appearing at sunset, different people realize that the time has come to go ahead with their different projects. A keen appreciation of the value of individualized responses to any challenge of life. The rather obscure original notation for this zodiacal degree, a new moon that divides its influences, that division and coming back together, when translated into practical terms, refers to the fact that confronted with the opportunity to expand their energy along new lines, modern individuals will react according to their own personal characters. Your character is your fate. It's a beautiful quote. One basic cosmic spiritual impulse will lead these varied personalities to take equally varied steps. In any society that glorifies individualism, everyone should therefore accept this fact and not try to compel other individuals to conform to a single pattern of response. This symbol stresses the essential nature of the cyclic process of actualization of human potential, meaning the emergence of the individual. This should lead to a realization of the fallacy of totalitarianism. The fallacy of totalitarianism. At times, we can all act like despots, demanding that others react to any situation exactly as we do. So we have the defying of orders. We have the fallacy of totalitarianism. These symbols, they were created almost 100 years ago. For these symbols to be, for these planets to be at these degrees, at this moment, and these are the Sabian symbols for them, and we're watching these events play out in real time. For me, as an intuitive, clairvoyant medium, it's a mic drop from the unseen. It's just okay. And last but not least, we conclude with Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, the king of the fairies approaching his domain. The capacity in man to recognize and to pay homage to an integrating principle at the core of all existence. Oneness, unity, wholeness. This rather peculiar picture, tells us perhaps a good deal about the limitations of the mind of the clairvoyant who saw it, though it can be related to the symbolism of the various creatures of a spirit world mentioned in some alchemical and Rosicrucian books. What seems to be implied is that beyond both outer nature and the realm of the proud ego, a spiritual world exists to which the intuitive consciousness of man can pay allegiance. Soul source connection, the unseen, the divine, it's within us. And how we pay allegiance to that. We listen to it. It's our soul source connection, our highest global positioning satellite, God positioning satellite system. In that world, all manifested entities are seen as multiple aspects of a central power and consciousness. It is such a central principle of unity that human societies have sought to revere symbolically in human, all too human kings. So we've tried to emulate it or bestow it or symbolically imbue it or in all too human kings, queens, leaders. In an individual sense, this principle is the self. This stage and symbol add a new dimension to the two preceding ones. At this stage, the presence of a spiritual unifying factor begins to be sensed by the individual, perhaps weary of the outer shows of his or her culture. So where in the deconstruction, the collapse of the old, so where we are at this, there's a spiritual presence there and a unifying factor that's being sensed, beginning to be sensed by individuals that are weary of the outer show of their culture. It's an inner allegiance begins to polarize the consciousness. That's where we are. We're at this place of unification, of being made whole again, made one again. This in an instant and from a distance. The ideal of who we are at our core, at our center. And these fractional, aspects of ourselves being unified, being amplified in the whole, and how they're long-lasting events and outcomes. And thus, we're going to witness the rise and fall publicly, people coming from obscurity to prominence, and vice versa. And all of that is happening based on our individual and collective choices, but also our destiny, this arc of destiny that moves forward, and how we are to align with it. We are to revere it, to cherish it, to practice it, to exercise it, so that we are one with it as we move forward. That's where we are. It's very, very, very exciting. Just bringing up the main theme again, Mercy Me, moving forward, and all that jazz. Canary and Fox Medicine. Like I said, I don't know about all of you, but these energies for season 5, whew, they're intense. They're beautiful and intense. So let us all pull out our golden ticket, get on that beautiful golden train that we know is going to the future, forward, and let us advance. Thank you all for being here, for your presence, your energy, your just faithful commitment and presence walking this journey with all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you next week.